So, Peter, we're talking about how our partners can expand their offerings, these VOD libraries that they look at and how they can repurpose them. What are some of the trends that you're hearing our customers ask us about these days?
Yeah, it's a good question. What we hear frequently is content providers. I mean, there's a wealth of opportunity now for different or new distribution mediums when we talk about virtual MVPDs. There's a lot of new entrants in the marketplace, but content providers themselves are looking at their content library and seeing what are the new ways they can monetize their content. And what we've seen and what's been coming to us from our customers is the concept of virtual channels. That's taking an existing set of content that's maybe niche content because they see it in high demand, maybe on some of their existing platforms. And how can they take those existing assets from their content library and create what's called a virtual channel? And that's just a linear channel that they can provide to their digital experiences to maybe complement their digital VOD experience or their digital VOD library.
And that could include live events as well, right? They can inject those as well.
That's right, and that's where they're trying to find that mix. Again, this goes back to, as a consumer, we're all shifting to wanting to watch the content we want to watch. It's an obvious statement, but we start getting into content that's personalized. And when we talk about linear channels, we all still like to watch linear TV, but we want it with the content that we want to watch.
Sure.
And that's what we're seeing with virtual channels is how do you find a content library that you know your consumers are interested in, but you want to get it out there in a format that's cost effective for one, right? And that's the challenge with, how do you take the content, process it, and get it out to the appropriate mediums, but structure it in such a way that you can have a mix of VOD assets and maybe mixing in some studio live events, just depending on who the content provider is, but it can be that mix. And really that appeals to your consumers, your subscribers, because you're adding more value to them with different offerings, if you will, that appeal to what they want to watch.
Yeah. Matt, I'd also add to that and say, when we talk about some of the newer technologies to distribute content, reliable UDP, we talk about multi-CDN or being CDN agnostic, it also gives content providers the ability to have a global reach, where content is not just limited to the country or the region that it's typically distributed to. The means and are there now, and the cost has come down enough to be able to distribute content out to a global distribution, and be able to really target in and say, I have a Premier League soccer game that stars a Japanese player, and getting that now broadcasted not just in that territory of the Premier League, but also to globally and having that larger audience be able to watch that content.
Yeah, it really is about the maximum audience that they can appeal to, given the rights are all in place.